G'day and welcome back to another Bottom Up Boats episode where today we look at the Chinese Gybe. Dissecting the disaster that you've just seen and hopefully putting some simple tricks into your racing kit bag to allow you to avoid getting into the same situation. So before we go through the step by step, let's rewind the clip that you've just seen and take a look at what led to the issues and how we recovered. The thing I love most about sailing is its complexity and the challenge that it brings. What most people don't realise is that the people that win aren't always the people that are the fastest or the smartest or have the best equipment. A lot of the time across the length of a regatta, it's actually the team that can make the least mistakes that come out on top. Yes, boat speed is important and it's always good to be going the right way. But at the end of the day, minimising mistakes is going to lead to the greatest success while you're on the race course.
Our first mistake was a late setup of the spinnaker, so we're actually unsure whether we'd finish the race or whether there was another lap. Mistake number 2 was easing too much vang as we bore away at the top mark. You'll see the boom here rise well above the perpendicular to the mast. The amount of boom vang we let off was one of the major factors contributing to the Chinese Gybe. While it's required to release it to get the boat away, once you are settled, you need to pull it back on to stop the boat wanting to roll to windward and hence bear away. Once again, still unsure whether we were racing or doing another lap, a lot of the crew was looking at the race committee and the other boats to see whether we were actually racing. We ran quite broad in a casual fashion while doing this. While this gave us depth on the race course, it caused the spinnaker to set completely prior to being at the top of the mast and everyone being set up to trim it correctly. The next mistake was my position as the skipper. Once again in a casual fashion, I was steering from the center of the boat directly above the tiller. This limited my ability to adjust the rudder as the spinnaker filled and the boat wanted to bear away. The last mistake was not having the pole correctly attached to the guy. When the spinnaker fills and the pressure comes on, the boat then pivots around the sail, losing steerage, windward chime in the water, and forcing the Chinese Gybe. After any unplanned wipeout, first step is to ensure everyone is safe. While the mastman and our youngest crew member got a little wet, everyone was safe and accounted for. It was then on to the recovery process. The crew quickly goes towards the spinnaker sheet, trying to pull the sail into the boat. Unfortunately, as the standard wind shadow behind the main is not there because we're pointing to windward and cannot get the boat away, the spinnaker continues to set out to leeward. The first step was to release the halyard in a hope that it would take the pressure out of the sail and allow it to pull it in. Unfortunately, at this stage it was acting as a kite and just went further away from the boat, continuing to set. With all 3 points of the spinnaker still connected and acting as a kite, the only way to release the pressure is to cut either one of the sheets or the halyard. The best option is to try and release the windward sheet. As it was locked into pulleys, our mastman grabbed the knife, crawling back and then cutting the sheet, allowing the pressure to come out of the sail, and the rest of the crew were then able to start to gather the sail in and get the boat back under control. So while we watched the crew wrestle the spinnaker under control, allowing us to get back in the race, let's review the top tips to preventing you from rolling into a Chinese Gybe. Increase your boom vang and main sheet tension to create windward lift and weather helm. Ease the guy, allowing the spinnaker pole to move forward, which in turn limits the boat's desire to roll to windward. Do not run over square. Increase spinnaker sheet tension, creating weather helm and leeward heel.
So that concludes today's episode on the Chinese Gybe. Hopefully, through watching this episode, you can learn through our mistakes, hopefully avoiding them when you're on the race course, because ultimately the disaster that you just saw cost us the race in this instance. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get all the latest updates, and if there's anything that wasn't answered in the update or that you didn't quite understand, leave a comment below and me and the GTR race team will do our best to answer your questions or give you more information. So until next time, remember to race smart because it's fast.